is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a little review for you guys. I just was at Walmart yesterday and I picked up this $11 foundation. This is the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Protective Makeup with Sunscreen. Now it also has antioxidant enriched to protect against the atmosphere, I guess, the pollution and the air. And it does have SPF of 50. So I am going to the water park or the spray park today, so I wanted to test this out for you. And I will try to give a wear test because I will be out in the sun. It's going to be like plus 28 degrees today, which is quite warm. So I will also give a wear test at the end of this video. Let's get started. So I figure I'm going to do it's actually going to end up being a Maybelline face minus blush. And I guess the bronzer, because I will use my Physicians Formula bronzer. And blush, I'm just using my Tarte Blush Bliss palette. But we're going to start with this Maybelline Master Prime by Face Studio Primer. This is the shade 300. And it is the Blur plus Redness Control. So I'm going to use this first. I haven't used this product in a long time, but I really do like it. It doesn't really have that silicone feel to it. It actually feels honestly more like a moisturizing primer than anything, but it also is green tinted to control the redness. Alright, next I will apply this with my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge because I haven't used it in a while and I just want to see how this works with my sponge. Keep in mind it might shear it out a little bit. And this is the shade Soft Tan 228. So this was the last shade of soft tan that they had. They had like a darker tan color, but I figured it might be too dark. So I hope this shade matches my skin. Let's see. Is that just me or does it smell really good? I think it smells kind of nice, actually. So it does say this is full coverage, so I'm kind of tempted to see what happens with the sponge and how full coverage it actually is. I think I've told you guys on my channel before that I don't really love drugstore makeup, but I do like testing out bronzer, sometimes powder, but foundations because I use them almost every day. I go through them quite quickly, so okay, I don't know if I'm getting full coverage here. It looks like I've used about if this was in pump form, it's already 3 pumps of product, and I'm not really getting full coverage, but again, I am using the sponge, so keep that in mind. I think the thing that I'm most concerned about is that it does have that SPF, which is really important to cover your face and your neck. I'm just blending down my neck. I think the shade is actually a pretty good color for me. It's a little on the yellow side, but you know what? It's not a bad match at all, actually. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting full coverage. I don't know. I think the next time we use this product, I will definitely use a brush and see how that applies. And it's very liquidy, so I wouldn't expect a full coverage with a liquid foundation. I just want to see if it says anything else on the container. It does say active ingredients. I probably won't be able to pronounce these, but it says homosalate 10%, ocylsalate 5%, and octocrylene 4%. So I'm not sure if those are good ingredients. It does say formulated with antioxidants, helps protect skin from environmental aggressors. And then you can peel the label for drug facts. And if you use products, I always find that you have the most success at having a product wear really, really nicely on your skin. So I am going in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles. This is the shade Sand. and I'm just going to pop this underneath my eyes. And I will blend it out with the pointy tip of my Real Technique sponge. So like always, I bring some of this product up onto my eyelid to prep for shadow. I've read mixed reviews about getting an actual eye primer and just using concealer, and right now it's budget friendly to use concealer because I already have it. I don't have an eye primer except for the Too Faced glitter glue, which I bought specifically for glitter formula shadows. So yeah, and honestly I haven't really used it. I usually just like fixing my makeup in place with a really good setting spray, and for lasting all day I usually use my Urban Decay, so the all-nighter setting spray. I'm just going to put a little bit more under the eyes because I feel like it doesn't really give me... I think my eyes are really puffy today too, so I mean that could be why. Let's just go in and just blending that out. I'm going to set with my sponge, and I am using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade Fairlight 10. So I'm just going to go in right now with that. And I'm not really baking here, I'm just going to let it sit until I'm done powdering the rest of my face. For Drugstore powder, this is probably one of my favorites. I didn't really like the pan powder, like the same brand, but like in a pan. I prefer the loose because I can really pick up more product if I want, and then I can also pick up less product if I want. And I know technically you can do that with the pan as well, but I just don't like it as much. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to put bronzer on before I do my eyebrows. And I will use my F30, so the last brush I used was my F20 by Sigma. I'm not contouring today, I'm just bronzing all over my face, and this is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It has become one of my favorites. At first I didn't love it, because it kind of gives my skin this like sheen, and if you over apply it looks kind of weird. But if you want just the right amount of color, this is the darkest shade that they had. It was the deep bronze, and my skin is already pretty dark. Like even with this bronzer, I won't even match my arms, my shoulders. So I don't have a harsh line. I sometimes blend a little bit down my jaw because I don't really want it to look like I have the placement in one spot. I kind of want it to be like an all over bronze. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of blush. This is my Tarte Blush Bliss. As I was saying, I usually take my F10 by Sigma, it's a powder blush brush, and I love this palette because I just like putting the brush in all of the colors. I find it gives the most natural finish instead of just using one of the colors. So I give a little smile and then just lightly dust the apples of my cheeks. I bring a little bit of the blush on my chin and a little bit on my nose. Right. I think I'm going to forgo highlighting today. I might highlight with like a really mild highlighter, but I'm going to go and focus on the brows off camera, and we'll be right back and we will get into the shadows. So, eyebrows are done. I used my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in chocolate today, and then clear brow gel over top, and I think I got them looking pretty natural, I think. So I'm going to go back in with my Morphe Jeffree Star palette, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, ever since I saw his look for the introduction of this palette online. And now Jeffree had like one of these hot pink shades, or maybe both this pink and that purple, I don't know, in like on his lid, and then the lower lash line was the green. But I'm going to do something completely wacky and like opposite. I'm going to do the green on the lid and like this hot pink on the lower lash line. So I'm going to start, obviously I'm going to start with a crease shade, but I'm going to use my E35, and I'm going to go in, because I am putting the green on the lid, so I'm going to work my way up to this kind of like orange color here, with this is called Mr. Diva, and I'm going to start with 1985, because it's more of a kind of a yellow crease shade instead of like a completely neutral one. So I'm just going to add that to my crease and lightly buff it on my crease. I'll probably just do it like slightly above my crease, and then we will deepen it up with Mr. Diva. And I think what we'll do is add the dark green, which is Nate, right to the crease, and then Wake and Bake, which is the lime green, will go on the lid. So I think that's going to be really, really cool. And this is looking a little pink actually. So let's go into Mr. Diva. And I'm using the same brush here. I was trying to find something with a bit more of a yellow undertone to go with the green. I think that is good. Now I actually might go into Channel as well, which is a shade, and just add that to the crease as well. Same brush, just to deepen it up a little further. So I'm just gonna keep one of my brushes out here to wipe away fallout, because again, I've done my face makeup before my eye makeup. Now that my crease is done, it kind of looks orange, but I think it's going to blend okay. So I'm going to go in with the shade Nate, and I'm using this really skinny blending brush, this E36. So I'm just going to pick up some of the color on the brush dry, tap it off, and then start right in the crease here, just to draw my initial line. So I don't really want this blown out at all. Okay, so you can see that really defined line right there, and I might blend it in, but I want to add the lighter green shade first. It's called Wake and Bake. So I'm going to take a clean E25. It doesn't look clean, but it's just stained, you guys. I'm going to put the color on dry, because with a matte shade, it doesn't really work well with like any liquid on it. So I'm going to take it on this brush. Again, that's what it looks like. We're going to tap it off. And I'm just going to pack that shade on my lid. And I'm just packing it on, so I'm not swiping the brush at all. That looks really pretty. So I'm going to take a little bit of a bigger brush now. I'm going to take this E39 Buff and Blend. I'm going to tap it back into Nate. Tap off the brush, and then just buff it in the crease. We'll have to go back in with that lighter green shade. I'm actually going to use this to shape the eye a little bit, and just bring that dark green out on the corner, because when I have my eye open like that, you can't really see the dark green. So if I bring it out here just a little bit, you can see it, and then it kind of looks like a wing. But I'm not doing any liner today, I don't think. I'm just going to do mascara. So the trick with this green is just to blend it really, really well. And for a green shadow, you know what? It's actually blending really nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to take a clean E40 now. And I'm just going to buff around the edges of the shade Nate. And then I'm going to go back in with that very first brush we used, and then buff that around the edges as well. I feel like I lost some of that dark green on this eye. And I'm going to pack on that lighter green again on the lid. It looks so pretty. And it's so bright, and it's just, yeah, I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the lower lash line, and at first I'm going to do something that I don't usually do. I'm actually going to take this E20 short shader. I'm going to take the shade Channel, because it kind of, like, you can't really see it anymore, but up on the upper lash line, that's where we put it. I'm going to buff it into the lower lash line first, and then we're going to go in with that hot pink color. Then we're going to take an E30, and I'm going into the shade Self-Made, which is this hot pink. This is going to be so pretty. Tap off the brush, and then run it all over the same place I put the other shade. So I'm just going to quickly wipe away any fallout underneath that color. And it's looking really bold. So I'm going to take that same brush, the short shader again, dip it into Channel, and just buff it out a bit so it's not such of a harsh pink line. And then we're going to take that first brush we used and do the same thing without adding any color. Yeah, so normally I would totally do this opposite, but because I've been doing so many pink shades, it's kind of different and neat to do it opposite than I would normally do. So now I'm just going to go in with my L'Oreal Voluminous Feline Mascara. And honestly, I think that's it. So before we quickly do that, let's just give our face a quick spray with some setting mist. This is the Morphe Jeffree Star Strawberry Smelling Setting Mist. I'm just going to put on a very little bit today. I notice it has like a little bit of a radiant finish, just like the original one does. So if you use it too much and you have lots of highlighter on your face, it does, you can see it. Let's just leave it like that. Alright, so we'll be right back. Mascara is done, and I realized the only thing I'm missing besides her highlighter, which I might do a little bit, but is inner corner highlight and under the brow bone. So I'm going to use the shade Welcome with my E21 smudge brush and just highlight the inner corner here. I find it's a little chunky. It's almost like a sparkle shade, so I don't know how well it's going to stay on. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe out a little bit of fallout here that kind of fell down my nose. And we will put a little bit of highlight on. So I will use my Mary Lou by Balm and my F64 Soft Blend Concealer Brush for this job. And I'm just going to put a little bit on each cheekbone, a little bit on the chin, nose, Cupid's bow, and that is it. And then I'm going to take my powder sweep and just kind of blend it out a little bit so it's not such a harsh highlight here. Just one little one. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to use this true, well, it's not even true color, it's Avon Glimmer Stick Lip Liner in the shade Mystery Mauve. This is D110. Definitely a mauve shade. So I'm overlining my lips just a little bit here. And technically I don't even need to do this step because I am using a liquid lip. But I always like outlining my lips. Okay, I don't think I've ever used that lip shade lately. So this is the Infallible Pro Matte Gloss by L'Oreal, and this is the shade 300 Blushing Ambition. So it's a light pink. So let's see what it looks like on the lips. Whoa. Okay, definitely pink than, like more pink than I'm used to, and it doesn't really go with the eyes, but it kind of gives a really pretty pop of color. It's actually more cool than the eyes already are. Okay, so I'm actually going to go over top of it because I don't really like that color. I'm going to use this matte, like Maybelline Super Stay Matte ink in the shade 80 Ruler. Now this is actually a matte lip and not just a gloss. Okay, so that darkened it up perfectly because it matches my, like the lower pink shade now. I think that looks a little bit better. Alright, so that is the completed look. It is completely different than any look I think I've done before. I mean, I know I do a lot of colorful looks, but definitely different. I really like that green shadow. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this video. Leave some comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys very soon. Have a wonderful day. Take care.